Hello and welcome to Pam's Piggy Bank and Money Box collection, and today we're going to be travelling back in time. The first thing we're going to travel back in time to talk about is this little chap who I told you I thought his name was Roger, or at least that's what I call him, and I've no idea what the teddy is called. But actually I have now researched it, and this is Bob and this is Tim. So that's one mystery cleared up. We have Bob the Minion, and as I say, if you're interested in Bob, you travel back in time through some of my previous videos and you'll find him and his gorgeous teddy. The next place we're going to travel back in time to is the Doctor Who series in the years when David Tennant was the Doctor Who. I know this because luckily for me, this came with this lovely little label that says Doctor Who with Mallow, coin box, and then it tells you all about the sweeties, which were strawberry flavoured, and that the sell-by date was the 7th of 2007. Obviously I'd eaten the marshmallows well before that date, but I certainly do remember watching David Tennant in those days, those heady days when I was a lot younger, and I still very much enjoy Doctor Who. So anyway, here's my little Tardis. I have a number of different Tardis because obviously Doctor Who's been around a very long time, and I have lots of different ones from different eras. They do tend to look a bit the same, but some of them are quite different. This particular one, as I say, came with sweeties. It has a really easy, she says, struggling with it. It has a really difficult way of getting the money out. There we go. And it just goes back in and you turn it, and that's how you get the money out. And the slot is really difficult to see. Well, not really difficult, but it is quite well hidden. And there it is. And as I say, that's from around 2007. Silly me. Anyway, then we come to this one, which again is a journey back in time, but maybe far too back in the past for some people to remember this. This is a little money box, and it's obviously got a little drawing of a telephone, and it says telephone money box, and it has a very rustic slot and a slidey, which is an easy slidey opener on the bottom. These first came into being, I think, because telephones weren't new because they'd been around for a very long time, but they were starting to come out more. You'd see more of them in people's houses, and you might find there's at least one, if not two, on every street. And what this meant was when people who didn't have a telephone wanted to ring the doctor or ring their mother or check with their husband or whatever they wanted to ring for, they would knock on the door and say, "Oh, hello, I'm so sorry, do you mind if I use your phone?" And people with phones tended to be quite good about letting their neighbours use their phones. But phones were quite expensive, not the actual physical phone, but the actual cost of the calls were quite expensive, and they actually, in the very early days, went through operators, and that was very expensive because of the manpower. So these little boxes were brought out, and on the top it says, "Phone from here when you will, but don't forget who pays the bill," which is a very gentle reminder for people to put a few pennies, and it literally would be a few pennies, because I remember in the late 60s you could make a telephone call from a phone box with 4 old pennies, which would be, I don't know, less than 5p anyway, you know. Difficult to say because I've forgotten how to work it out, but anyway, a very small amount. but that's when the phones were much more popular. So anyway, those are my two little time travelling money boxes. I hope you've enjoyed talking about them. I wonder if you can remember this one, or in fact, if you can remember David Tennant as Doctor Who. I hope so. And I would like to say thank you for visiting, and I would also like to say come back and see me again. And if you really enjoyed me, please give me a thumbs up. Here we go. Thank you, and bye-bye.